In the skies above Poland, a quiet yet historic revolution is underway. Lieutenant Katarzyna Tomiak-Siemieniewicz has etched her name into aviation history as the first woman in the Polish Air Force to take the controls of the MiG-29 Fulcrum, a Cold War-era interceptor that still forms the backbone of Poland's air defense. Her achievement is more than just a personal milestone. It's a symbol of a changing military culture and a powerful message to Poland's NATO allies and adversaries alike. A pilot against the odds. Breaking into the cockpit of a high-performance fighter jet is no easy feat, even more so in a traditionally male-dominated profession. Lieutenant Tomiak-Siemieniewicz' journey reflects not only elite-level skill and training, but also years of persistence through a system that had rarely seen, let alone supported, women in combat aviation roles. She completed her training at the Polish Air Force Academy in Dęblin, often referred to as the School of Eaglets, and joined the 22nd Tactical Air Base in Malbork, home to one of Poland's squadrons flying the MiG-29. After transitioning from training aircraft to the high-performance MiG-29, she became combat qualified, a rare achievement in any air force and a landmark moment in Polish military history. The MiG-29, a Cold War beast still on duty. Originally designed by the Soviet Union in the 1970s to counter the American F-15 and F-16, the MiG-29 remains one of the most agile and combat-ready fourth-generation fighters in operation. Poland inherited the type in the early 1990s after the collapse of the Warsaw Pact, acquiring both brand-new and second-hand MiG-29s from Germany. Despite its age, the MiG-29 remains a formidable air superiority platform with these core features: top speed, Mach 2.25, 2,400 kilometers per hour; combat radius, approximately 700 kilometers thrust-to-weight ratio; greater than 1 armament, 30mm GSH 30-1 cannon, R-73 and R-27 air-to-air missiles, avionics upgrades. Poland's fleet received NATO standard communication and IFF systems, though the core Russian airframe and architecture remain. Even as Poland prepares to transition to newer platforms like the F-35A, Lightning II, and the F-A-50 light fighter, the MiG-29 still plays a critical role in defending the country's eastern flank, a region increasingly under scrutiny due to tensions with Belarus and Russia. A message to NATO and to Moscow. Tomiak-Siemieniewicz' rise to the MiG-29 cockpit sends a message far beyond Polish borders. Internally, it reflects the country's modernization of its military, not just in hardware, but in human capital. Externally, it signals to NATO that Poland remains a capable and evolving contributor to the alliance, one that takes both operational readiness and inclusivity seriously. Moreover, in the shadow of Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine, the symbolism is stark. A woman flying a Soviet-era jet, defending NATO airspace, and training for intercepts against Russian threats, a visual counterpoint to the old order the Kremlin wishes to restore. Looking ahead, from Fulcrums to 5th Gen. Lieutenant Tomiak-Siemieniewicz' milestone comes at a pivotal time. Poland is undergoing one of the most ambitious military modernization efforts in Europe. Its procurement of the F-35A will eventually replace the MiG-29 entirely, And the training pipelines are being adjusted to accommodate this next leap in capability. Whether she transitions to the F-35 in the coming years remains to be seen, but her experience in the Fulcrum marks her as a prime candidate. Regardless of what airframe she flies next, her presence in the cockpit is already redefining who gets to be called a fighter pilot in Poland, and setting the tone for the next generation of military aviators across NATO's eastern frontier. But beyond symbolism, her role carries tactical and operational significance. In an era where peer state threats dominate NATO's strategic calculus, the alliance can no longer afford to overlook half its population when staffing its most advanced combat roles. Poland's ability to integrate talent, regardless of gender, into its high-performance combat aviation units isn't just a step forward for equality, it's a strategic necessity. Lieutenant Tomiak-Siemieniewicz experience with the MiG-29, a notoriously unforgiving aircraft, gives her a level of grit and situational awareness that will translate well into next-generation platforms. The Fulcrum demands a hands-on, reflexive flying style that leaves little room for error. And surviving that cockpit builds a kind of mental toughness that automated systems can't teach. Her potential transition to the F-35 would not only validate years of modernization, but would mark a generational shift in how Poland views the role of its fighter pilots, not just as warriors, but as multi-domain operators in a complex, data-driven battlespace. The F-35's role as a sensor node, battle manager, and strike platform all-in-one requires cognitive agility as much as flying skills, traits Tomiak-Siemieniewicz has already demonstrated in abundance. Meanwhile, her story is gaining traction, both within Poland and abroad. Military academies are citing her as an example in recruitment campaigns aimed at increasing diversity. Inside NATO circles, she's become part of a broader conversation about operational inclusivity and its effects on alliance cohesion and capability. In the end, whether she continues flying Fulcrums for another few years or finds herself donning a 5th-gen helmet and climbing into the cockpit of an F-35, one thing is clear. Lieutenant Katarzyna Tomiak-Siemieniewicz isn't just flying sorties. She's helping reshape the air power landscape in Eastern Europe. And as Poland continues to evolve from a post-Soviet air force into a cutting-edge NATO frontline state, it will need more pilots like her, bold, adaptable, and unafraid to chart new flight paths.